by the people, for the people.
That's a fine way to start our video.
I'm special needs professor.
No, we already did that video. That's not what we're doing today.
Now, I'm very, very proud of you. You are a big girl. Who's a big girl? You're a big girl. Yeah, you watched an Indian movie all by yourself. Who's a big girl?
Well, that's because you were going to bed and you didn't want to watch a movie with me. And so I said, well, I'm going to go watch a movie by myself.
What did you watch?
I don't know the proper way to pronounce this film. I don't know if it's Aarakshan or Aarakshan.
I wanted to see that with Big B.
No, you didn't. You didn't even know.
In Piku?
But I specifically told you I was looking for a Big B film. And so, because it's Big B, because I love Big B. And so,
it's my Big B.
So I went through IMDb and started looking for different Big B films that were somewhat recent. Because I didn't want to watch a super old one by myself. I figured you would want to watch a super old one with me. And then we're limited.
He does his dance.
Okay. And then we're limited in which movies we can actually watch because Netflix does not carry every Indian film ever made.
They should, though.
They should. It would make it way easier for us when people suggest movies to us because we're kind of limited. So in any case, I found this one. And the reason I chose that one over, I think the other one I was considering is called Babul.
I want to see Babul.
And it's been suggested to us. But the reason I chose Aarakshan is because it had Deepika Padukone, whereas Babul had Salman Khan. And if I was going to spend my time...
Sultan Ali Khan.
If I was going to spend at least a couple of hours watching a film, I did not want to see Salman Khan. So I watched Aarakshan. And it was very, very good. And now we have to see Three Idiots because when I told you about Aarakshan, you said, oh, now some things from Three Idiots make more sense to me. The problem being that Three Idiots is not on Netflix. So
I think I watched it on YouTube,
So we're going to have to try to find it on YouTube with English subtitles. But anyhow, so the basic premise of Aarakshan, since you didn't watch it with me, but all of our friends will know because they've already seen the film.
Maybe they haven't.
It basically goes back to a 2008 decision by the Indian Supreme Court, which gave... I don't know the right word to use here. I don't want to say...
Reservations?
Yeah, we'll say reservations.
They call them reservations.
Okay.
Because the Indians have asked me, why don't you do videos about reservations?
Okay.
And I'm like, wrong Indians? My ignorance,
Different kind of reservation.
Right. I was completely like... because that's American Indians?
Right.
Oh, no, I'm the stupid
So
one. I am.
They're giving space, basically, in their government-run universities to 27% of what they called the backwards classes. That's not my word. That's what they use. Would we be
backwards classes, do you think?
I'm thinking maybe because when I'm watching this
jocks,
film,
maybe.
No, because we're not farmers.
We could be though. I got Carhartt. I could be a farmer.
But we're not farmers. We live in a condo. We don't have acres and acres of land that we're farming.
I got a cow.
So when I'm watching this film and they're talking about people living in the slums, okay, so Big B's daughter, Big B runs this school, and it's a private college, okay? It's not a government-run college. It's a private college. And his daughter goes there, and she has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend lives in the slums. He's from a backwards class.
The boyfriend I've seen in other things.
Saif Ali Khan. You tell me, because I haven't...
Sultan Ali Khan?
Saif.
Oh, he was in Rangoon.
Okay, see, I've never seen him in anything, but he was a very good actor. So he's from one of the backwards classes, and the movie basically starts off with him sitting in front of a panel, and they're supposed to be interviewing him because he's completed his schooling basically under Big B, and he's going for his PhD now. And this school doesn't want to accept him because his mom, does people's laundry and he lives in the slums. And I'm thinking, okay, this is crazy. So if he's qualified and capable and smart, what does that matter?
I'm going to interrupt you for a moment because I think for our Indian friends, That's terrible.
It's
I'm
true.
gonna pinch your nipple now. See how you
No,
like it.
you are most certainly not. Stop.
You did we got this question on the one video we did.
I answered the question.
Yes, you did. Pinch
I
my
answered the
nipple.
question,
At what
and
time
I explained
was
it was at 1 minute and 27
Yeah,
seconds.
somebody time marked it with
Yes.
smiley faces.
And
or
I
laughing
explained
faces.
that
Yes.
I did it because sometimes
Yes.
you are insolent, and I have to draw you back. So anyway, you interrupted. So
America is a place where you can transcend classes.
classes.
Yes, the caste system, class system, because you can. People can go up
Yes.
and down in it.
Yes.
And it's not really. I suppose there's a little pushback if you're the uppity, snooty kind, and you're dealing with the lower class. But typically in society, nobody really cares what caste you're.
No,
from.
here's the thing. If you are, let's say, the son of Donald Trump,
Yes.
or you are our son, if both of them applied to Harvard University, they would both have equal opportunity provided they had the right grades and the
Yes.
right test scores. Harvard would not care that our son comes from a very middle class family.
Well, I think what they would do is they would probably think it's kind of cool if we get a couple of these, lower tier people that look, they're smart enough. Look at us, we're helping them so much.
Well, the educational system is
Yes.
such in America that so long as you have the grade requirements, the GPA
that's
requirements,
don't
and
care.
they'll look at other things, also like what kind of, have you done community service? What
Do you
other
know the
sorts
professor?
what other sorts of extracurricular things do you bring to the table? They don't look
Me.
at, does your mom wash laundry for a living? Because if she does, you can't go to school here. They don't do
Yes,
that.
nobody would blink an eye at that.
Right. So I was appalled, okay, that they're not even they don't even finish the interview with this guy, and he's disgusted too. And so he gets up, and then he goes home. And this is the first time I get to see the slum. It's not a slum at all.
slum.
Okay. Slums in America, you don't have doors, you don't have windows, you don't have electricity. You might not have wood on the floor or carpet or tile. It might just be a dirt floor. You don't have TV. You don't have, because obviously you don't have electricity. Some of the slums don't even have, running water. Okay, so that's a slum in Illinois, or not in Illinois. Some parts of Illinois, but in America in general. So his slum, they have nice tile on the floor. He's ironing, so clearly they have electricity. He's got a bed. I mean, it's just a middle class home.
If you want to see something about American slums, there's a documentary that was made about my family.
Called American Hollow.
American Hollow. And
Right.
You can find it on YouTube, and,
Right.
it follows distant relatives.
The
of
Bowling
mine,
family
yes.
from Kentucky.
And you can see when I was doing Russian stuff, the Russians said slums. That's everyday life here. What they looked at it like
Right.
is.
Right.
So India, you can compare and contrast.
Right. And even in that video, the American Hollow video, some of those homes, though maybe they didn't have electricity, they still had a roof over their head. Okay, so when they're talking about slums, I'm picturing, wow, this is going to be like totally run down, where they don't have a bed, they don't have clothing, they don't have food. What I was picturing, do you remember when we watched Shahid? And remember when the home that he was living in with his mom and all the brothers, and how they're all cram-packed?
Yes.
I was picturing worse than that
Yes.
when
That
they
would-
said slum.
If you told me Indian slum,
Right.
I would think of Shahid's home, but maybe there's 3 walls, or there's no roof.
Right.
Or there's
Right.
a big gaping thing in the
Right.
floor, and rats
Right.
are coming in, or something
Right.
like that. That's what I
Right.
would think of.
Okay, so the boyfriend's home does not look like a slum. Okay, so that's the first thing. But he's a backwards class person. Then they also have this friend who lives near Big B, and he owns this cattle shed, basically. Okay, and he's kind of like a rancher, if you will. He's got all of this land. He's got like this big
He's a jot.
3-story house.
He's a jot.
He's got this big 3-story
jeep.
house and all these different sheds, and yet he's a backwards class. And then they start talking about people who are truck drivers. Some of the construction crew are considered backwards class. And I thought, okay, that's just wrong, because they're treating them like these are people that have the plague and you don't want to touch them because, God forbid, they're not one of the elites. They actually work for a living. I was appalled.
In America, they would call this rags to riches, and it's
Right.
celebrated if you come up like through the ranks.
Yes, when you come up through the ranks, right?
People, they say
yes.
it's a rags to riches story,
Right, you're
and
a
everybody's
self-made,
like, "Oh,
right.
great story
Right.
right here. It makes me feel so good."
So the premise of the film then is kind of the conflict between the people who are rich and elite and the people who recognize that those from the backwards class need a shot. And of course,
Shot of whiskey.
so Big B's daughter and her boyfriend, they have a friend at the school, and his dad is rich and his dad is totally corrupt. And he is only in this education game for money. He wants to build universities. He's got these training colleges that are supposed to be like tutoring your kids, but all they're doing is giving them the tests and the answers and then saying, memorize the answers. So then when you take the test, you'll score really high. Whereas Big B understands
Like
that
you need to read and write.
he calls the backwards classes weak and needy. And he says they don't have the same opportunities because they can't even go through primary school, basically. So we need to be training them so that they can test properly and get into these universities. So there's obviously a whole lot more in the film, but that's the basic premise, is kind of the conflict between the rich elites who are totally corrupt and those who want to give the weak and needy a shot, and kind of the ensuing chaos that goes on where the corrupt dude gets Big B's, he gets him fired, he gets Big B's house. I mean, they almost lose everything. So
And Big B won.
no, he played a great part.
And his dance move.
Depika played a totally different daughter this time than she did in Piku, and this was before Piku, of course. In Piku, you know, she's kind of flustered and irritated with this dad who's kind of eccentric, whereas in this film, you know, she's a college student, and so she's kind of whiny and a little entitled at first, and then she comes around. And so you need to stop so I can finish this. So she finally comes around. She gets back together with the boyfriend. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. I thought it was a very good film. I would love to have given it an A because it's Big B, but I can only give it a B. And the reason I can only give it a B is because while they told the story really well, at the end it felt like, let's wrap this up super quick.
And you had 3 hours.
And they don't show, you know, at one point he tells his wife and daughter that we're going to get everything back. We're going to be back in our home. We're going to get everything back. But you don't actually get to see them move back into the home. I wanted the satisfaction of seeing them kick out the interlopers so they could be back in their home. I also wanted the satisfaction of seeing the corrupt dude lose everything. We didn't see that. So, for that reason, my final grade is a B.
A big B?
A big B.
A couple things. Go check out the website, darkskyradio.com. Again, it's darkskyradio.com. And follow the Warrior Queen on Twitter.
At Tish Bowling.
At Tish Bowling. The real Tish Bowling.
I don't put real in my name. I mean, that's what Donald Trump does. I suppose if it's good enough for him, it should be good enough for me. But I've been at Tish Bowling for 5 years, so I'm just going to stick with at Tish Bowling.
All right. Oh, and we'll catch you guys later.
Okay.